Hey guys, what's going on? Regenesis here, and today I'm bringing you an uncut video where I want to just talk to you a little bit about my thoughts on the current state of Diablo, especially after the latest Necromancer exploit, the new Season 11 that just started just a few minutes ago, and where I'm at with the game. So, today I get a text from a great friend, in fact the best friend I've ever had, probably the best friend I'll ever have, and he's like, hey, Season 11's coming out tonight. They're starting tonight. I'm like, cool. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, typically I do like to get on seasons. I do like to jump in, see what's new, maybe a new set, maybe some new places to go. Of course, there's the Necromancer pack that just came out. Kind of kept my eye on that, but haven't made the purchase yet because I'm just not sure. So I kind of sit back and watch, because typically I'm going to buy that because I've been a big Blizzard fan for a long time. I've got a lot of enjoyment out of Diablo 3. I still think it's one of the best action role-playing games on the market. Now, it is made, I think, for more of a casual gamer. And there are leaderboards and things like that, but it's made more into a casual game where it's more of a theme park, and I think it caters more to the casual player. And again, that's just my thought. So when I got the message, I thought, yeah, but I've been following this exploit. And what did the exploit do? Well, before I get into that, let me tell you a little bit about the exploit. And I'm going to give you a Cliff Notes version of what happened. So, Necromancer is released. People go out and buy it. It's a $15 pack. It has some perks with it. Extra stash space, extra character slots, things like that. And you get the new class to try out. Kind of mixed reviews on that overall, with it's either fun or I hate it, kind of either one camp or the other, not many in the middle. But I held off, and I continued to kind of watch the forums to see what the feedback was and see what people were saying about it before I would make the purchase, and started seeing this stuff pop up about an exploit. I'm like, oh no, not another exploit, because there've been a lot in the course of this game that a lot of people have considered game breaking, and I think it's lost a lot of the player base because of those. But in a nutshell, what happened is somebody figured out a way to use a Necromancer and a Demon Hunter skill, if you had them both in the same party, to pretty much do infinite damage. And people were going into greater rifts and going all the way up to the highest greater rift you could do, and pretty much one-shotting everything in the level. Well, what they were doing is obviously getting paragons like crazy. And the second thing, and I think the most detrimental thing, was they were able to get their legendary gems up to level 140. Now, really the only thing that you could be obtainable to that point was a level 132, and you had to be a dedicated, hardcore, thousands of hours gamer to get that. And there were people that have done that legitimately, and some illegitimately. I'm sure there's some botting going on, and that's a completely different topic that I might touch on one day. But they went in and got all their legendary gems up to 140. Got all these crazy Paragon levels because they're running these high greater rifts. So Blizzard finds out about it, and they put out a notice on the forums that says, hey, stop using this. This is an exploit. We're going to patch this. We're going to hotfix it, whatever. Well, people continue to use it. It's a holiday weekend. I think it was July 4th. Blizzard employees are out. They don't hotfix it, and these people continue to exploit it. So people are up in arms, and as a legitimate player, you definitely want to keep the playing field level. And I'm not one of these guys that goes in and I'm trying to be the best on the leaderboard or anything like that. No, I don't have time to do that. I've got things outside of gaming that are very important in my life. So I balance that out. But anyway, Blizzard's ultimate response to it was, okay, we're going to take all these gems that these people got back to the highest level you can have, which is level 132. And again, to get level 132 as a legitimate player, you have to basically commit your life to the game. That's my understanding. I've never gotten close to that. So the community's up in arms. Lots of people are leaving, threatening to leave, all that good stuff, which is expected. And they didn't do any rollbacks. And I think for some of the most major abusers, they did temporary suspensions. And then they offered a double XP weekend, which to me is kind of a triple slap in the face. Number one, those gems shouldn't be there. They should be removed. A rollback should have taken place. They could have done that. I know they would have penalized some legitimate players that did not know. But again, the non-season playing field is destroyed from here on out, period. Unless down the road they do something, they raise gem levels to where 132 is pretty much like not a big deal. That's one way to fix it long term. The second slap in the face was they didn't roll these accounts back. So they get all these Paragon levels and they get to keep them. The third slap in the face is this double XP weekend for people. But think about it. The exploiters have their 132 level gems. They can go in if they're not temporarily suspended, and they can go in and they can run all these higher greater rifts and get more XP than the legitimate players. So it's just a mess. And I think there were multiple wrong decisions on Blizzard's part in this instance. I think they've alienated the player base. I know myself, I'm really turned off by it. I think it's destroyed the integrity of the game. It's basically sent a message out that if there is an exploit the heck out of it and you'll be fine. You're not going to be banned. You might get a temporary suspension, but you're still going to come out ahead of everybody else. That's the message that they sent. Loud and clear. Now, they came back with a message, talked about faster communication, more communication, better communication in the future. That's great. Good. Fantastic. Good. But who's thinking through these decisions? Because I can think of some better things than that. Number one, there's an exploit. People are using it. Okay. A couple things you can do. Shut down greater rifts. Shut them down. Period. Disable them. It might anger the player base for a little bit, but shut that down so you can get it hot fixed. That's one way, in my opinion. Number two, put a message on there. You know how when they do the server restart messages that pop up? Server restarting in 20 minutes, whatever. Have a message on there that says, if you're using this, if this is happening, you will be banned. Then there's no excuse like, oh, well, they didn't know. If you're in a party with a demon hunter and a necromancer and you're doing these high greater rifts and everything's going great, whatever, you're going to be banned. So those are a couple ways, and I'm sure there are things that can be thought of around that, like then you're advertising the exploit. I get that, but you're also basically saying, hey, there's an exploit out here, avoid it. But again, if you go back and you disable, 100% disable those greater rifts in the game until the exploit can be fixed, then nobody's leveling the gems up. Nobody's able to get all these crazy paragons. I mean, they can get more paragon levels by using the exploit in like regular rifts and things like that, but that's going to be minimal. But these greater rifts, you can just shut them down, disable that. And I'm sure that may take a little bit of programming. I'm not sure, but do that, and guess what? You're good to go. Problem is solved. Short term, people might be angry because they can't do greater rifts. I get that. But you've saved the integrity of the game. But what they've done is, again, unless they come out with something in the future that makes those level 132 legendary gems pretty standard and easy to get, they have permanently messed up the non-season playing field for legitimate and non-legitimate players. So I might play, but I'm not 100% sure at this point because I'm really turned off, because this hits me personally from an integrity standpoint, right? You got to have integrity. You got to stand behind your terms of agreement. You got to stand behind what you're doing. And I really don't think they did that. I think in this instance they made a lot of bad decisions, and it's really turned me off from the game. So that's my 2 cents. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. It's really kind of a rant, but just wanted to let you know what my thoughts were on that. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you do decide to play Seasons and continue to play, have fun. Don't take it so seriously. I think seasons or seasons, if you're running that, great. That's a level playing field. But once seasons end and you go to the non-seasons, that's where the problem is, because that playing field's messed up. So I think you can still have fun. You can still run up the leaderboards in seasons. But for me, the game's pretty messed up right now as far as from a competitive standpoint and just from an integrity standpoint. So as always, hope you guys have fun gaming. Be sure to make time for faith, family, and friends, and I'll see you in game.